I was just trying to get the energy up.
Welcome to the Green Light.
Green Light Podcast.
Woo! My name is Lauren.
My name is Jackson.
Yeah, and if you are new here, basically what we do is read unproduced plays and screenplays and interview the people who wrote them.
That's right. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's our jobs. Well, no. Incorrect at this point.
Yeah. And, you know, if you're not new here, something I think you should do if you haven't already, because really you should have done it by now.
Good segue.
Is rate and review us on iTunes.
Yes, correct. As you have heard, if you're not new, or if you are new, you probably haven't heard it, but now you're going to hear it, is in your review, obviously you can say whatever you want. You give us 5 stars, it's whatever. But
you can say poop on a stick.
Sure, if that's your heart desire, then you could say poop on a stick. But if you don't want to say poop on a stick and you want to say something a little bit more, if you give us your detour of the week, which your detour, as you're about to find out, is just something that you watched or consumed in the past week, maybe you read, you can put that in your review and we will read it on the podcast if you give us a 5-star review.
Yup.
Or you can roast me. And if you're new, you might not know why I'll be roastable, but I'm sure you will find out very soon with just my voices. Go.
Yeah. And you know, a very sad thing, I don't think we really have any detours or roasts to read this week.
I don't think so.
Keep them coming in.
Yes,
we want 'em.
Please. We do. We want them all.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, those 5-star reviews, even more so than just a plain old 5-star rating, really does help us move up the charts and expose our podcast to more people.
Exposed.
Okay.
Exposed. Any hoot.
So
now let's get into our first segment, which is our detours of the week. And as I just said, this is a segment where we talk about something that we've consumed in the past week. TV show, movie, book, play.
10-year-old video game.
10-year-old video game. We love those too.
Yeah.
And how about ladies first? Why not?
Okay.
Because that's how the world works.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about this week, so that's fun.
Oof.
No, but it's okay.
Jackson could go.
So, a couple of days ago, we had a surprise birthday party for our friend Jacob, who has been on this podcast many times before.
And will continue to be.
Yeah, his birthday is actually Thursday, but we had a surprise party on not his birthday, so it would be a surprise.
Exactly.
So we let him pick out whatever movies he wanted to watch, because he's a big film buff kind of guy.
He is.
And he actually we decided to watch the Disney Channel original movie Minutemen, and also the Kim Possible movie A Stitch in Time.
Yes.
And both held up. Both were really great.
Yes.
But the one I'm going to talk about is A Stitch in Time, because Kim Possible was truly just a fixture in my childhood. And A Stitch in Time is just really great. I mean, like, it has plot twists, it has reveals, you know, things that are really compelling to watch, even as a mostly grown adult. And
I like how you said mostly grown adults. We did watch this in our living room with just 3 twin mattresses spread across the floor and us sprawled across them. So it was almost adults is appropriate.
Yeah, it was an homage to when, you know, Jackson, Jacob, Nick, who rents us this microphone, and Blake, who's been on here many times, when they first got to LA and they were sleeping on mattresses on the floor.
Yes, that is correct. We spent many times sleeping on mattresses on the floor, unfortunately. But hey, so a throwback to our first days out here in sunny Los Angeles.
Yeah, but A Stitch in Time was, you know, it's just really great. I mean, it really shows sort of what happens at the beginning, basically, is that, of course, Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable are this...
Kim Possible.
Yes. It's technically 3 episodes of the show, so we sang the theme song every time.
Yes.
But yeah, so Kim Possible and Ron Stoppable are this unexpected but dynamic crime-fighting duo. And at the very beginning of the movie, they get split up because Ron's mom gets relocated to Norway. And this cracked me up. His dad says, you know, because Ron's like, oh, well, what about you, Dad? Like, can you work in Norway? And he says, I'm an actuary. I can work anywhere where there's a $sign on human life. And I was shook.
The social commentary sprinkled throughout this movie is astounding.
Pretty good. But yeah, so he gets moved to Norway, and they try to continue keeping in touch and, fighting crime together, but it's really just not working out because Ron is so far away that it's just hard for him to get anywhere in a timely manner to help her out.
Yeah. Where do they get all their money from? I forget. Like, how do they have the funds to do all this?
I don't know. I don't think they ever really talk about that. I mean, it's kind of like Kim's family is clearly wealthy, but also probably the government. Because they do kind of talk about Kim Possible's origin story a lot in A Stitch in Time, because they go back to when she's in preschool, and then when she first makes her website that's originally for babysitting, not crime fighting. And it's really just like, she's like a gymnast and she's like on the cheerleading team, so she kind of can do all this acrobatic stuff, but then
she kills that cheer routine. There's a sequence in the film where
Bonnie gives her like an impossibly hard cheer routine for tryouts,
and she just kills that with a smile on her face the whole time. Yeah, as cheerleaders do. Anyways, continue, Lauren.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, it's they kind of talk about her origin story, and she does a crazy acrobatic thing in between a bunch of lasers, but yeah, I mean, they never really talk about where she starts getting all the gadgets from.
If someone knows, drop it in our iTunes reviews.
We'll read it.
If it's 5 stars.
Yay! If it's 5 stars.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. A Stitch in Time just really held up. It was great to see Shigo again. Love her.
Shigo.
She was my childhood idol.
I didn't know this. My family will appreciate this piece of trivia, I think. The voice of Shigo is voiced by the character the same actress who plays the character of Holly in King of Queens, which is, I guess, a bit of a niche reference if you don't know 90s sitcoms, but King of Queens starring Kevin James, yes, the actress, and I had no idea, but so it was interesting. So after seeing that, I could not hear Shigo without also seeing Holly from King of Queens. Yeah. So that's fun.
Well, and speaking of Shigo finally gets, like, what she deserves in this movie, not in the sense of like her getting her comeuppance, but in the sense of like, I feel like, I don't know if it's really a spoiler, but
if you don't want spoilers for Kim Possible, A Stitch in Time, then fast forward a minute.
But like Shigo becomes the supreme leader in the future. Like she basically makes all of the other villains, because there are a bunch of other Kim Possible villains who kind of join forces in this to defeat Kim Possible. And Shigo basically just takes control of the whole operation and becomes supreme leader of the future, and everyone wears green and black like Shigo, and it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of great.
It is.
Kind of wanted Shigo to win a little bit.
Yeah, but... a little bit that's like pulling for Shigo there.
Yeah.
Other things, everyone's ripped in the future.
Yes.
So Wade and
Dr.
Draken, Kim Possible's two brothers, all jacked.
Yep.
And as well as
also Rufus.
Rufus 3000 is incredible.
Well, and they refer to the original Rufus as Rufus Prime.
Rufus Prime.
It's very good. It's a really great. Honestly, like, go on Disney Plus. I'll have to ask them what episodes it was, because they didn't have the actual, like, the version that's edited into a movie. Yeah. But you can go through and find the 3 episodes. So we'll find those out and put them in the description.
Yes, I'm looking it up really quickly. I know the episodes are called Past, Present, and Future, but I don't know which. I think it's towards the end of season 2. Yeah. Season 2. So look, if you have Disney Plus, it's on Disney Plus. All of Kim Possible is on Disney Plus. So look that up. Season 2, towards the end, Past, Present, Future. Those are the episodes.
Yay!
A lovely little watch for your celebrating your 24-year-old housemate's birthday.
Yay!
a great time. Alrighty. So my detour this week is a little series on that little streaming service called Netflix. A little something called Umbrella Academy. So, Lauren had watched this a while ago, and I had
I watched it like a year ago.
Yeah, well, because that's around when it first came out, right?
Yeah, I watched it. I was a little bit late, but yeah.
Sure. But I had started watching it around when it first came out, and I didn't super get into it. I only watched like half of the first episode, though, so that was my fault. But, yeah. Lauren was like, we have to watch Umbrella Academy. We have to watch Umbrella Academy. We have to watch Umbrella Academy. And I said, fine. And then, once the series was over, I said, thank you, Lauren, because it was awesome. It's a really good series. It follows this family, I guess, family in quotes, basically...
They're not related. It's a bunch of adopted siblings.
Correct. So they were all born at the same time on the same day. And
from mothers who were not pregnant up until the moment they gave birth.
Correct. But they all have their own individual superpowers. So, for instance, number 1, Luther, he is very strong. And that's all I'm going to say, because there is a bit of a reveal that comes along with that. So I don't want to spoil any of the...
There are lots of big reveals, but there are some powers that we're aware of right at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And so each one has their own individual power.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off and they're sort of estranged from each other. Like, they haven't really talked to each other in a while, but they're all brought together by their father dying.
And by the way, their father, he was this like billionaire guy, and he basically went to all of these mothers around the world.
Good context, yeah.
Yeah, and offered to like basically buy or adopt these children in any way he could. And there were like
money was exchanged.
There were like 40 something of the kids, and he got 7 of them.
Yeah. So I wonder, do other kids have powers then?
I would assume, yeah.
Maybe that will be
I would assume like they wouldn't
2.
all be concentrated in these. That's true.
Season 2.
But yeah, it's very, very good. It's also written by, well, at least the concept and the original comic book that it's based on
based off a comic book.
is by Gerard Way, who you may know as the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
True. I did forget about that. That's super cool.
Yeah, he actually makes a tiny, tiny cameo in season 1, where he's not like physically in it, but Vanya, who's number 7, writes a book. And at one point, she's looking at her dad's copy of the book, which he clearly never read. Mm-hmm. And there's a review on the back of the book by Gerard Way.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So a little Easter egg, I guess.
So in addition, a little more context for the series. So the first 6, for the most part, remain together, fighting crime when they were young.
Yeah.
The 7th, Vanya, seems to have no powers. She plays the violin well, period, end of story. But
she was always separated from the other kids.
Correct. And so sort of their coming together is difficult because Vanya has never felt like she's part of the family. You know, there have been other deaths in the family, which I, won't reveal. But essentially, by the end of the script, you find out they have to stop the apocalypse.
Yes.
And so that's sort of where the first season continues, ends, and it ends in a really cool spot.
Yes.
I want to talk about it more, but we can't. But that's fine.
Yeah,
because y'all can watch it on good old Netflix.
Yeah, but this is a great time to watch it because season 2 is coming out like mid to end of July.
I think
so
it is.
Really,
I think it's like
really
end of
soon.
July. Isn't it like 31st
I think it's
or
like
something?
July 30th, July 31st, something like that.
So this would be a perfect time to watch it if you hadn't.
Get
it's
it
on
fresh
Netflix.
in your minds.
Yeah.
Watch it again.
Yeah, I feel like I watched it at the perfect time because it's like I have time to process it and have a little time to get like excited for the second season.
For sure.
But it's not too far away that I've like forgotten stuff and things like that. So it's a really cool series. What else is there to say about it? The characters are all great. It's a different kind of superhero story.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because they were all sort of raised to believe, like, oh, well, our journey and our purpose is to save the world, but then they also feel very lost in that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them feel like their superpowers have almost been more of a hindrance. So, like, there's a character who... her superpower is basically saying, I heard a rumor, and then she can say whatever. She might say, I heard a rumor that you were really tired, and the person would fall asleep.
Yeah.
It's
very Jedi mind tricky.
Yeah. So, for her, in some ways, her superpower has helped her get where she is, but in some ways it's also destroyed relationships in her life and things like that. So it's just a really interesting way to look at superpowers and how they're not always good for you, and how they can really take a toll on the person who has them,
Yeah. It's interesting in a similar way that The Boys is interesting, the series on Amazon. But it's different from The Boys because I feel like The Boys it deals with a different kind of superhero story, looking at it from like a societal perspective and how people with superpowers can influence and how people can take advantage of people with superpowers. But this deals with it from a very human perspective, where it's like how it affects individual people, individual families, and people who are close to them without being directly involved, which I think is a really cool thing. And it's written really well. There are great side characters too.
The soundtrack is fabulous.
The soundtrack is perfect. It's really cool.
I have had Happy Together by the Turtles stuck in my head since I watched it a year ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't see me loving nobody but you. Cut off because copyright. Okay. But yeah, very good show on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, you can watch it for free. I put in quotes because you have to pay for Netflix. But that's it.
Pretty good.
Those are our detours.
I guess,
right?
One other thing we were going to talk about real quick that we both watched last night.
Oh, true. Also, shout out to my father for renting it on Amazon and then letting us watch it on his account.
Second week in a row.
I know.
We talked about that. So we watched Irresistible, which is a new movie starring Chris Cooper and Steve Carell, written and directed by Jon Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Jon Stewart, if you don't know, he was the original host of The Daily Show.
Yeah.
With Jon Stewart.
But yeah, so basically Irresistible, I think, like, I mentioned this last night, but one of my big critiques is that the title and also the main poster really give you no insight into what this movie is about.
I agree with the poster. I disagree with the title, but we talked about that.
But anyway, so basically Steve Carell is a Democratic political consultant. Mm-hmm. And kind of the premise is that, he's obviously a fictitious character. His name is Gary. But he supposedly ran,
Gary.
Or at least was a major player in Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Mm-hmm. Which obviously did not pan out.
Yeah.
As we were living in the aftermath of that society.
Yeah. So I believe this technically takes place, it's before the midterms. Because they talk about the midterms being in the future.
Yeah.
So basically they're trying to find people to run in smaller elections in swing states. So they find this guy who's Chris Cooper, who is a former Marine living in a small town called Deerlocken in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And they see him talk to the city council about how...
There was a YouTube video released, and that's how they see him.
Yeah. There was a YouTube video released of him standing up for mostly immigrants at a city council meeting, saying that you shouldn't have to present ID to receive welfare benefits or food stamps or anything like that. So the Democratic Party, the bigwigs decide to jump on this and convince this man to run for mayor, fund his campaign, help him win, basically, to put this town in Wisconsin on the map and try to begin, I guess, converting Wisconsin as a whole. Yeah,
and the idea is that he is someone who you would look at and think, this guy's probably a Republican.
Yeah.
But in fact, his ideals more represent the Democratic Party. So, in other words, trying to pull some of those maybe either on-the-fence voters or even some Republicans over to the Democratic Party. Because especially in some, swing states, it's thousands of votes that decide, very small margins. So if they can do that, it can very help the cause of the Democratic Party.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Steve Carell goes to Wisconsin. There wouldn't be a movie if he didn't, so this isn't a spoiler. He convinces Colonel... What's it, Colonel?
It's Jack Hastings.
Jack Hastings. Colonel Jack Hastings, thank you, sir, for your service. He convinces him to run for mayor in this small town in Wisconsin, Deerlocken. And so it's sort of... It takes you a lot through the process of what running for office looks like.
Yeah.
And how getting involved as an outsider in a small town comes with its own unique challenges.
For sure.
And yeah, it's really interesting. One thing that I did not expect to have in a movie like this was a actual massive twist at the end of the movie.
Yeah, massive twist. It was crazy.
Yeah.
We can't talk about it.
No, for sure. But there is a big sort of reveal at the end. And it's really interesting. Jon Stewart I've always found his opinion really, really smart. I think he's a really smart guy.
Yeah, the writing was really strong in this.
The writing was definitely really strong. Steve Carell does a good job of playing sort of the DC outsider. Chris Cooper does a great job. Mackenzie Davis. The acting is really strong. Yeah, I think, and it's a good story. Yeah. Yeah,
that's about it. But yeah, I mean, it's not like I wouldn't say it's. I mean, it has 3.5 stars on Amazon Prime, which I would say is probably accurate. It's not the most groundbreaking thing I've ever seen, but it is definitely a sort of comedic, fun look into what the election process looks like, and it definitely has some eye-opening moments. So I would say it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty. Those are our detours for the week.
Yeah, so when we come back, we will be reading an excerpt from a longer play called The New Couch by Ryan DeAngelis. It's just about the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope you enjoy when we come back.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Green Light.
Green
Thank
light.
you. Wow. Y'all were on it. That is perfect. I am Jackson, as you know.
I'm Lauren.
And your favorite Target employee's back. It's Bailey.
Bailey coming in here actually right before she goes into her shift at Target. A real trooper, to be
Yeah.
honest. Right before an 8-hour shift.
Catch me at guest services.
Yes, and we will. Are you officially, working at gift services now?
Yeah, you heard it first, Green Light. I'm
Whoa.
officially working at guest
Whoa.
services.
Whoa.
Taking your returns.
That is incredible. I'm gonna buy something at Target
And return it.
and hate it just so I can return it.
You don't have to do that.
Okay, that's fair too.
Oh, I
Great.
have such great friends.
Yes. So today we will be reading The New Couch by Ryan DeAngelis. A great little play. And without further ado, it's an excerpt.
Oh, and this is
from a
this is
larger
the
play.
first scene of a longer play.
Yes. So without further ado, let's get into it with a little bit of character stuff. So I am Jackson, and I will be reading stage directions.
I am Lauren, and I will be playing Rachel.
I am Bailey, and I will be reading for Jen.
And let's get into it.
Woo!
The New Couch by Ryan DeAngelis. Setting: a couch that's in good condition but still shows signs of use from a previous owner. On one end of the stage, there's an opening which leads to the bedroom, and on the opposite end, there's the apartment door. All other set pieces change for each scene. Cardboard moving boxes are stacked in a rough wall around the space. Scene begins with the characters in the middle of the conversation.
I'm sorry. I know I should have been... I don't know what else to say.
I know, because there's nothing else to say.
I don't know. It feels like we're really, not close right now, you know? There's something in the past few days that just makes it feel like we're...
We're what?
I guess it's that we're getting...
Angry?
No, that's... Oh, what's the word?
Distant?
Yeah, distant. That's the word.
Giggles a bit, but then quickly silences it when she realizes Rachel isn't laughing along.
So, is there anything I can do to try and connect more, support you, help you, something?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
Pause. They sit back to back on the couch, facing opposite walls.
What do you want to do now?
Well, I want to go to bed.
I'm pretty sure we still need to get the mattress out.
But that takes effort.
We're already at the couch. I'm pretty sure it's a pull-out.
You need to get up early for your meeting tomorrow.
So?
You think we're gonna sleep much on this shit?
I don't know. You probably could.
What?
What?
Come on, I don't sleep that hard.
Babe, last time we were on vacation, you almost missed the airport shuttle because your alarms weren't loud enough. I had to wake you up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Good thing I was there, right?
I guess so.
They laugh slightly. Pause.
So what are we gonna do with these boxes?
Boxes.
It's 10:31. We're not gonna get everything unpacked in one go unless we're willing to stay up until 5 or something. And I don't know about you, but I'm not in the mood for that right now.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just kind of done.
Though thinking about it, we should at least try to get the bed built. I'd prefer not to sleep on the floor if possible.
Can we just, put the mattress on the floor? I don't think assembling a bed is the best idea right now.
Fair enough, I guess. We should probably try to at least have something presentable, though.
We're not hosting anytime soon, Rach. We can take our time.
Fine. Just promise me we'll have everything unpacked by Wednesday.
Deal.
They kiss, then look into each other's eyes.
We're here.
Yeah,
In our own apartment. In the city, no less.
I know, it's crazy.
Pause. Jen starts questioning Rachel's genuineness in her head.
Well, we should probably head to bed.
Rachel starts to head towards the bedroom.
Hey, Rach?
Yeah?
I'm sorry about, not putting in my...
I know, Jen. I know.
Okay.
Pause. Jen visibly starts going into her thoughts. Rachel walks over to her,
Hey, are you okay?
nodding slightly under her breath.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Is something wrong?
Jen shows signs of panicking, though she's trying to hide it. She starts to turn away.
Jen, what's going on?
She starts walking fast towards the door, her state getting worse. Rachel keeps with her.
Something's wrong. What do you need?
Please don't hurt me.
Jen, I'm not going to do anything to you. let's get you to the couch for a second. You need to relax.
She tugs on Jen's arm, but doing so only makes her panic worse.
Jen, it's me.
No response. She moves closer to her and makes her voice softer and more assuring.
Jen, baby, it's Rachel. Love, look, it's me, okay? I'm not going to do anything, I promise. I just want to get you to the couch. Can I do that?
Jen doesn't respond, but still approves. They move slowly to the couch. She doesn't resist Rachel's guidance, but is clearly in a different place.
It's okay. We're here. You're safe now. It's just your mind playing tricks on you again. You're trapped in your thoughts right now. Let's see if we can get you out.
She starts comforting when Jen begins to cry.
Oh, God, this is a bad one. Stay here for a second. I think I know where the blankets are.
She searches through the boxes. The crying gets more intense and visceral. She finds the blanket and brings it to the couch.
I found this. We'll see if it helps.
She pulls the blanket over Jen and holds her. Jen gets slightly calmer.
Would trance help?
Jen nods slightly and shakily pulls her arms out of the blanket, holding her palm out. Rachel holds her hand and rubs her thumb around Jen's palm, putting her into a relaxed state.
There you go, babe. Just let go. Relax. Let yourself forget everything and just focus on my voice, okay?
Jen goes into a deeper relaxation.
Perfect. When I let go, feel free to come out and wake up with a clear mind.
Rachel releases her thumb, and Jen starts to come back to reality. She looks around.
Sorry.
Are you feeling better now?
Yeah, I think I'm fine now. It's just... It's scary, you know?
What happened?
I was just like... I was there again, I guess.
The old couch?
Jen nods.
Was what I did helpful?
I think so. I just... Your voice helped, at least.
What about...
Motioning her thumb on her palm like before.
This?
I think... yeah. It kind of gave me a way to step back, I guess. Get out of my head a bit.
Do you want a drink? Tea, water, something like that?
Tea would be nice.
Okay. Will you still be okay if I get up to go make it?
Yeah, I think I'm stable now.
She goes and makes the tea. Jen goes into a deep thought, which breaks when Rachel brings over the mug.
Thanks.
No problem.
So, I was...
Yes?
Is it okay if I ask you something?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Do you think I'm the problem? Do you think that I'm the thing that's pushing us apart?
What? No, not at all. What makes you think I would?
I get the sense that I'm a destroyer, I guess. That I'm hurting you, giving you pain that you don't want, and that to get away you'll dump me or...
No. Are you all right? Are you falling in again? Because if you are, I can...
No, I'm fine. I'm not going into anything. My head's straight, I promise.
Well, neither of us is straight, but carry on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have this worry sometimes that since you spend so much time caring for me and my issues and all that it's not fair, I guess.
All's fair in love and war, my dear.
Funny. But it's not, though. I feel like I'm a leech on you, taking all of your energy and time and resources and attention and never giving you anything in return, and that's why you'll leave.
Hey, I'm not gonna leave you. Why would I? You've been through some shit, but we can't fix any of it if we just try to ignore it, put it away, and never mention it. Besides, it's not like I'm in any way perfect. I'm stubborn, show-offy, and I don't know how to interact with people without being an asshole. You have to deal with my shit way more than I do anything for you. I love you. So much. And truth is, I can't let us split up over anything. I'd be too heartbroken to function at that point. You mean so much to me, and I need you. You're my source of joy. Hell, do you think I'd be in this city if it weren't for you? Not even close. I'd still be living with my parents and wherever the fuck making $6.50 an hour and pretending I still like asshat guys. If I wasn't with you, I don't know what my life would look like at this point. You've led me by example in a lot of things. Sorry, that was a ramble. Point being, you add a lot to my life, and I'm never going to be anywhere but by your side.
Promise?
promise.
Jen smiles and they kiss. Rachel checks the time on her phone.
It's late. We should probably go to bed.
Yeah.
They get up and start moving towards the bedroom.
So, who will have the honor of setting up the mattress?
Not me. I've been carrying this shit all day.
Motion towards boxes.
Besides, I'm not the one who left her girl at home while she was with some dealer guy.
Hey! Joel Bennett's one of the most prominent dealers in the city. From what I hear, he's becoming the next Clement Greenberg. You'll be thankful that I met with him.
Rachel gives her a look.
Okay, fine. How about we work together on it?
That's my girl.
They laugh as they enter the bedroom, shutting off the lights in the main room. Various sounds can be heard as the mattress is set up. From off stage.
It's good enough for now.
If you say so.
They get into bed.
Good night.
Good night.
I love you.
Love you too.
A switch click is heard, and the lights coming out of the bedroom shut off.
Welcome back to the Green Light.
Green light.
We just read an excerpt from The New Couch by Ryan DeAngelis, and we have Ryan here with us. So, hi, how are you doing?
Hello, I am very, very good, thank you.
Good,
Cool.
good. Kind of a crazy time, but it's good to know that you're doing well. So let's I guess just jump right into it. Kind of ease in a little bit, dip our toe in the water, if you will. So
Yeah.
just give us your. Oh wait, I did this last week too.
No, it's okay.
I read things incorrect. Lauren's gonna ask you a question first,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, well, we just kind of wanted to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit and give us your writer origin story.
Yeah, so my kind of writer origin is basically I started writing in basically high school.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, I thought I was going to be a mechanical engineer.
Wow.
Nope. No. And so, but I started writing in high school. I joined my high school's theater company because basically my siblings had done it, and I just wanted to like continue the legacy. And then I fell in love, and so then I started writing for theater probably about sophomore year of high school, and everything I wrote I just absolutely hated, so that was fun. And then I kind of started, but I was writing and I was then acting as well, and I just kept going with it because I knew I loved writing. I just didn't like the things I was writing. And so I, eventually like got to college and started getting involved in stuff, and, found like other people who were writing plays, and, took that and also the experience of acting in shows and doing that kind of thing, and, just continued it. And then, along and just developed it along with all of the other stuff that I do.
Sure.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story. I love to hear stuff like that. I guess in a similar way, that's kind of how I got started. Like, I sort of just fell into it as well. We had to take an elective at my high school, and so I was just like, I don't know, I guess I'll take drama course, whatever. and sort of fell in love from there and just like kept going. But so you said you were continuing theater in college. If you don't mind, where do you go to college?
I go to Connecticut College.
Okay,
cool.
Cool. Are you from the Northeast?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut.
Cool.
Okay,
Cool,
nice.
cool. We are from the Southeast, North
Yeah,
Carolina.
we're from North Carolina.
Yeah. So East Coast at the very least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's dive right into the script itself. So yeah, just initially, where did your inspiration for this script come from?
The kind of origin of it was there was a playwrights festival at my school, and I had a script that I was kind of working on that I could have used because I had been used for other like staged reading stuff before, but I didn't want to use it, partly because it was inspired by the plays of Gertrude Stein, which if you've seen those plays, they don't read like plays. And so I had to like I had to just like guide people through the reading, and that wasn't something I wanted to do. So I wanted to have something original to put up. And I originally was planning on making it like a comedic farce
Hmm.
where it would be like the scene would start and then it would just end. And basically the writer forgot to finish the script and now everyone's figuring out what to do.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. That's
Yeah,
got a little bit of like Edwin Droodish, I guess.
Yeah.
Except that, I mean, Charles Dickens just died. He didn't intentionally leave it
Yeah.
unfinished.
So slightly different situations, I guess.
Yeah. And so I was writing that, and basically I started writing the scene, and then I got to the point and I was like, okay, this is like a cutoff point. This would work for the thing. But I really like the scene as it is, and I kind of want to see it continue. So I literally just flipped a coin. It was heads, I continue the scene. Tails, I continue with the original plan I had. And I got heads, and then I just continued writing it. And then I just, wrote the script, and I just, fell in love with like the characters and stuff that was happening. And then I actually didn't end up submitting it for the Players Festival because I was late editing it. But it was just really fun to work on. And, then I was looking at what I had, and I was just thought, these characters deserve more. And so I just, started writing more scenes, and, now, and so, I'm still writing scenes.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that twist of fate that led you to the script that you ended up with. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I really loved, and both Lauren and I loved, sort of your writing style and the way that you wrote the dialogue. It's very natural, very conversational. Lauren's talked multiple times on this podcast about how she loves slice of life things, that's her favorite. So talk about that, like your style overall, and like what effect you hope that has on your audience.
My style in terms of conversation, frankly, I think the reason I write very conversational is because that is the way I can write. And I just try and not mimic speech necessarily, because I think, dialogue in a dramatic piece has to be different from pure natural, like conversation. But, trying to make it feel just real. And, part of the way I do that is by noticing the ways that people, stop or start or repeat words or use, stuff like or like and things like that, just to pad up the sentence, I guess. I know there's a linguistic term for it. I cannot think of it right now.
It's like colloquialism?
Maybe.
Colloquialism?
The word in my head is back channel, but I don't think that's what it is.
I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But yeah, we get exactly what you're saying. That's really cool. And I think as actors, I know that's very freeing to to see stuff like that, and it's like, oh, thank goodness, it's just something that it's I can actually
easy.
say.
It flows.
Exactly. And I'm sure that probably comes a little bit from your background as an actor and just from working through that. Do you still act, by the way?
Yes, I do.
Oh, very cool.
Cool.
Very, very, very cool. So just 3 actors sitting around talking, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess so.
Yeah.
It's definitely really interesting that, you originally started wanting to make this a farce, and then it just turned into something that was, very, very naturalistic and definitely a drama.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we really like where it went, obviously. So one thing that I really like about this, and I know Jackson really liked about it, is that right at the beginning, they're in conflict, there's not any sort of lead up to it. It's not like they walk in the door, it's not like a Barefoot in the Park, I guess, when they, they go into the apartment and then immediately the guy's like, this is so small.
Yeah.
But it starts immediately in conflict, and that really caught our attention. So can you talk about your decision to just start this play in the middle of the conversation and in the middle of a conflict?
Yeah, I think the reason I did that, I don't remember specifically. I think it might have related to the farce I was originally writing, and that I wanted to there just immediately be like, immediate like high energy.
Sure.
To then contrast, and then and and then it just ended up sticking. But I think in terms of, dramatic technique, I guess, I think starting off in the middle of a conversation, I really like en medias res type writing. And it, just because I think it does kind of feel more natural in a way. And it, because I think if you're having like a start and it's like, yeah, they, walk in and it's like, oh, that kind of thing. It's, you either have to like sometimes you have to like manufacture it. Because even if someone's like, because even if you're, entering the room, like you might still be in the middle of a conversation.
Exactly.
For sure,
So,
yeah. They weren't just silent on the way up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was part of the reason for that is just because I wanted it to be in there. And also part of it is that we don't know specifically what they're fighting about.
Yes.
Right.
And I love that. I love that.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, there's a lot of like stuff in the script, both in this scene and in later ones, where it's, it's like what are the specifics of this, or what are like the hidden details here, and I just like, I don't know. So I just kind of just let it be as it is.
Yeah, I mean, something that I liked about this is, I think a lot of times with sort of relationship dramas, a lot of times the fight feels like it's about something very vague. It's just in general like, oh, well, you never pay enough attention to me and I just want you to leave and whatever, And I felt like with this, it was almost like, even though the words they were using weren't very specific, it just felt like the two of them knew exactly what it was about. It felt specific even though the language was a little bit vague. And that was something I thought was really cool because you don't, like when you have a real fight, you don't necessarily yell to the audience, exactly what it's about. So, yeah, I thought that made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it adds intrigue too, right? Because it's like at the beginning, you don't know what they're arguing about, but you like want to know what they're arguing about.
For sure.
And it's like
really engaging.
Yeah, it is. So we both really enjoyed that.
So this is a story about two women who are in a relationship, but something that I liked about it is that, a lot of times when you see stories about same-sex couples, it's about the struggles that they face by being a same-sex couple, And something I liked about this is that it was just a very regular relationship story. Their struggle isn't necessarily about the fact that they're two women who are together. So do you think that this is something that popular media is missing? And what do you think should be done to fix that, if so?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where whenever there's kind of a group that isn't the majority, the media wants to focus on the fact that they are not the majority, the fact that they are a minority. And so, I think that's why we see, like, gay couples where the only story is about the fact that they're gay, or like, same with trans people and, that kind of thing. And yeah, I think there definitely is something missing there. And the thing that's really like not there, which is kind of what I wanted to do with this script, is that that it doesn't give these people the chance to just live their lives. And and I mean, a lot of stories in media about gay people are about like coming out and stuff, and that is certainly important. That is certainly a story worth telling, but also, it is, being gay is an aspect of someone who is a fully formed person and is not just one attribute. And I think that's kind of the thing that really needs to be, put into like media makers' heads.
Yeah. And I think a big way that can like start is by just giving voices to marginalized people. And like letting them tell their story, whether it be about their struggle or not about their struggle. Let them tell their story in the way that they see fit. And I think hopefully that's the direction that media is heading. So we obviously, so the name of this is The New Couch. There is a moment in these first 5 or so pages where you reference the old couch. And so obviously this couch or the old and new couch are big parts of this. So what can you tell us about like the symbolism of this couch and what that sort of means for the overall story?
Yeah, the idea with the new couch is it's a symbol of not like getting over, but kind of accepting and moving on.
Mm.
Because when Rachel is saying like you're back at the old couch, what she's referencing is the fact that Jen has trauma from an abusive relationship,
Mm.
and that she's still very much dealing with like the moment where she's like very like clearly out of it is she's in a flashback.
Yeah.
And so that was so that's kind of the reference there. And the idea of like the new couch is that it's still a couch, it's still there, and it might have the memory of what was previously there, but it's not that.
Sure.
And Rachel is not Jen's previous partner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the symbolism of it, and also like the fact that they're like moving in at the time of this scene happening.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's a change, and it's a chance for them to kind of figure this out and figure out how to accept what's happened and figure out how to live with it.
That's so cool.
That is.
It's like
that's
it's
really
kind of
great.
like a way to say, this time is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really like that. So this is something I like to ask everyone, but if you had to change everything else in the script, you could only keep one moment, which moment would that be? What's your favorite moment in the script? At least in this excerpt.
I think I think my favorite line in the script is neither of us are straight, but I'm not gonna make it that.
That is a great line. We'll let you keep two things. We'll let you keep two.
But I think the moment that really strikes me as like central is the moment where they're on the couch and the trance moment.
Yeah.
That I think that one is really like the thing that is kind of the core in a sense.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool with that moment where Rachel does the thing with her thumb and then sort of asks later, did that help? Was that okay? So it's clear that she's helped her through these moments before, but is still sort of they're both still learning how to deal with it and are going to continue to learn how to deal with it. So yeah, that was something I thought was cool.
Yeah, and with the thumb thing, specifically, like it's actually what's called a post-hypnotic trigger, which is basically
so, like, pull someone out.
So what it basically can do is, and I am not an expert in this, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, but basically it allows when someone is out of trance to have a specific kind of gesture or something happen. So in this case, it was her rubbing her thumb on her palm, and it basically kind of triggers a specific response. So so like in this case, the kind of response that had been programmed prior was that it would kind of just give her this sense of like bursting calm and which just giving her like enough of a chance to just realize that she doesn't need to be in a state, that she can get out of it.
Sure.
And also that she can be out of the flashback.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's so cool.
That's awesome. Did you know about that before writing this, or did you do some research to find that?
I knew that it was a thing beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to, but then because I know people who have played with this kind of stuff, but I have not.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like ask them, and I was like, okay, this is the situation that's trying to happen in the script. Is this a thing that can actually happen in the real world? And they were like, yeah, this could totally happen. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. I love that moment too. That's really, really cool moment of them together and really seeing sort of a more vulnerable side of Rachel as well, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
Even though, Jen is the one going through it, Rachel has to, come in for support, which is really cool. So, yeah, those are all of our questions about your lovely, lovely script. So now we have some questions about you, Ryan. So when you initially emailed us your script, you said your approach to making things is called medium agnostic because of all the mediums you work in. So I'd love to hear more about that and what that sort of means to you.
Yeah, so the specific phrase medium agnostic was introduced to me by one of the art professors at my school, and I just felt, and I was like, that is exactly what I am. Because basically my approach is I use whatever medium communicates the idea best.
Sure.
And so sometimes, that's a play, sometimes it's, a short poem, sometimes it's a visual art piece, sometimes it's a sculpture, and sometimes it's, a non-theatrical performance piece.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things are kind of on the table for me, and it allows me to kind of figure out exactly how I want to express things, because each medium is able to do specific things and give specific effects
Mm-hmm.
that the other mediums, not that they necessarily can't, but it's much harder
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
it's not as ingrained in the medium.
Going off of that, is there a medium you haven't worked in but want to try?
I haven't done as much sculpture as I would like. I think that, like, I have a sculpture that I've been wanting to do for a while that I just haven't done because I just, it would take like materials and stuff that I just currently don't have.
Sure.
So I think definitely I want to get more into sculpture, but also just because the stuff that I make in terms of visual art is often like conceptual minimalist
Mm-hmm.
type of work. It's one of those things where, because I'm very into like modern and contemporary art history, and I think the main thing that emphasizes for me is that not everything is art, but there is nothing that cannot be art. And so that's something that I'm constantly playing with in terms of figuring out new mediums, new forms of expression, everything like that.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of art and just how it's presented, how do you think theaters around the country should respond to the new normal of living life in a global pandemic? And also, kind of to build on that, how do you make theater, which is sort of by definition an art that requires sharing a space, without being able to be within 6 feet of each other?
Yeah, I think, it's gonna, yeah, that's a very, very like difficult question, and it's something that like I've been dealing with, thinking about for the like entire length of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
At one point I actually wrote a short script that was like meant to be performed over video chat. And but I think in terms of that, I think it's a lot of it is connection with the audience, and how do we make that happen from even further away than it might be. And also I think kind of if, let's say, you're in a physical space but everyone's spread around, then maybe play into that. If everyone has to be at least 6 feet away, then make your piece about isolation or something like that. Maybe do something like The Encounter or something like that. That kind of like very specific thematic design.
So that's a good way to think about it. Something that I think could actually be, I don't know, I hate to say a good thing to come out of the pandemic, but I think that a lot of times professional theater companies and regional theaters, even Broadway, gets really stuck in doing the same shows over and over and doing revivals and doing Oklahoma again because they know that that's something people know. They know that's something that people will want to come see. And I think that being forced to revamp their practices could help theaters do new works because they just can't do Oklahoma, and they can't do these big ensemble musicals. And things like that. You know, they have to. I think it would be really hard to do a good production of a show that's meant to have tons and tons of people. And I think that that'll force them to do newer and maybe more innovative pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, one of the things that I've been thinking about with this entire, situation is the fact that, you know, after this is over, like, we will always live with the knowledge that this happened and that it can happen again. And that will, like, fundamentally change the way that we do theater and art and all of that.
Absolutely.
And you know, I think doing new work, being forced to not being forced to do stuff that isn't just the norm and a ton of revivals, yeah, I think that's definitely part of that. And also I think, you know, because like if you're doing a play that was meant to have like physical interaction between actors, but now it can't, then, you know, it's one of those things where you have to kind of design techniques around that. And I think that's, you know, one of the great strengths of live theater is that it's always able to adapt to the changing situation and devising new techniques. So that's definitely going to happen. And it's one of those things where, because every theater is dealing with it, once someone comes up with a really good design or method, everyone's going to adopt it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think those are all really good points. It is going to be really, really intriguing to just see how everyone adapts, and sort of this imposition on people will hopefully produce even more creativity, which could be like you said, Lauren, hate to say it, but a good thing to come out of the pandemic. So, yeah, so those are all, I guess, not our serious questions, because not that these next questions aren't serious.
Our long-form questions.
Yes, exactly. So we have a little series of rapid-fire questions that we're going to ask you, sort of, you know, instinct-based questions. So, yeah, we're going to get into those. So our first one is, which do you prefer to write, drama or comedy?
Oh, drama.
Cool.
Okay.
Which do you prefer to watch?
Probably drama also.
Okay, cool. No, respect to both. Respect to both. What is the favorite place you have traveled?
I really like Portland, Oregon.
Oh,
cool. I haven't been. Now that we're on the West Coast, we should really go sometime.
Yeah, exactly. We're much closer than we've ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think would win in a fight? Kim Possible or Spider-Man? And I want to add the addendum that this Spider-Man is not the Tom Holland Spider-Man. So it is any carnation, I guess, of Spider-Man that does not have the custom-made Iron Man suit.
Sure.
Okay. Both franchises I know very little about. I'm gonna say this is just gonna show my knowledge, but I think it's one of those things where, I mean, I think in any, like, who would win in a fight, you have to determine what is winning. But
True.
I want to say Spider-Man just because of, like, because I feel like his character is like pure agility.
Yeah.
And I think that would be like one of the biggest assets you could have in a fight like that.
Yeah. Lauren did make a face when you said Spider-Man. I
have a pretty good argument for Kim Possible.
She pushed for this question. She was like, we have to ask this question.
Well, I just think Kim Possible has wealth and gadgets on her side, and they're both about the same age.
True. Both high schoolers, I think, right?
Yeah, they're both high schoolers. But I don't know. Kim Possible definitely has more training, for sure. Spider-Man's just kind of like winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just...
But it would be close, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, you know, if you defined, you know, winning as just, like, not dying, then he could just get away.
Yeah.
For sure,
keep going.
That's also true. Just Spider-Man on the run for the rest of his life from Kim Possible. That's fantastic. Someone needs to make a movie about that. That's the crossover event of the century.
Yes.
Well, you know, I'm just saying Disney owns Marvel. If Disney has the right to use Spider-Man, it could happen.
Oh, gosh. You know, I never saw that Kim Possible. Did you see that Kim Possible live-action movie that came out recently?
I didn't. I refuse.
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to, because I know
No.
it'll just be disappointing. Childhood ruining. Anywho, so which do you like better, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay,
That's a
cool.
good answer. Good
Yeah,
answer.
yeah, I think that's what I'd say too.
In the battle of popular breakfast cereals, which do you prefer, Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch?
Lucky Charms.
Same,
Mm.
same.
Okay. I definitely ate more Captain Crunch in my youth, but I respect the Lucky Charms
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
I mentioned earlier that it would be a much closer fight if it was peanut butter Captain Crunch.
Well, I can't eat peanuts, so.
Oh. Well, there
But-
you go.
There you go, regular Captain Crunch.
Lucky
Yeah.
Charms is the
well, like,
clear.
With Lucky Charms, I have like a very specific, like I have eaten enough Lucky Charms that I have developed a specific strategy for eating it. So I think I kind
Same.
of have to go with it.
Interesting.
Same.
Wow, you both have connected over this so well, and
Yeah.
it's great.
I always eat all the cereal and then save the marshmallows for the end, personally.
Yes.
Wow.
Same,
Yes.
yes.
Wow, amazing. Look at this connection. So now, staying with these two mascots and going back to the fight, in a fight to the death, who wins? The Lucky Charms leprechaun or Captain Crunch himself?
Captain Crunch, because he knows how to delegate. He's a captain.
Ooh.
This is true.
He can get
True.
people to do the fight. Like he can get people to fight more effectively than he can on his own.
This is true.
That's a good point. He's got a crew. What does Lucky Charms have? Little gold that he can throw? No.
Fake gold.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, okay. How long do you think you would survive in a zombie apocalypse?
I kind of am inclined to with the people who say that the best thing to do in a zombie apocalypse is to die immediately because like your life is not going to be fun.
I agree.
Wow, y'all are connecting on
Yeah.
these questions.
No, it's really, I feel like with that question, I'd just like probably honestly kill myself immediately. Like, I don't think my will to just live, no matter what my quality of life is that strong.
Really? See, I feel like I would try to stick it out as long as I could. I don't know if that's the optimist in me or the fool in me, but I think that is my opinion on that one.
Our final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't do karaoke that often, but because I'm really into them right now, I'm gonna have to say something by Green Day.
Ooh, that's a
pretty
really,
good,
really,
pretty good.
really good choice, I will
Like,
say.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what, like, if there's a song specifically from them, that would be good. Probably Welcome to Paradise, I would say.
Good one.
That's like, I feel that's like a classic one that, like, even if you don't know the name, you've probably heard it.
For sure.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Great choice.
Yeah, wow. Very good choice. Very good ending. So, yeah, like Lauren said, those are all of our questions. Thank you so much for coming on, Ryan. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love, listening to podcasts, and of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for listening. So if you are listening and you would like to potentially reach out to Ryan to produce this script or see more of their work, their email will be in the description, and feel free to reach out to them there.
Yep. Alrighty. Thank you again, Ryan. We really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
If you like that episode, be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes,
So,
please.
5-star ratings always really help, but if you can find it in your hearts to write even just a couple words, you can leave your detour of the week, you can roast Jackson.
Please.
That will help move us up the charts even more and help our podcast reach more people.
2 words. Jackson sucks. We'll read that on the podcast, I promise you.
We will.
Promise, pinky promise, over the airwaves. Also, if you want to some more updates on our episodes release, some fun other things that we do, follow us on our socials. On Twitter and Instagram, it is at @TGL_pod. And then on Facebook, it is
At Greenlight Pod. No
Yes.
spaces, all lowercase.
Just look that up and you'll find us. We're the one with the
yeah.
light bulb.
Yeah.
Ding. And then our specific socials, mine is at J_Woodward_C. If you don't know how to spell it, it's in the description below.
And mine is, I'm at Lauren Hunkele on Twitter and at Hunkele, or no wait. Am I?
Are
No,
you?
I'm
Oh,
at
no.
Hunkleberry. Never mind.
A crisis.
This is a crisis. Well, I have a separate Twitter account that I made that's at Lauren Hunkley. Never
It
mind.
will be in the description below.
It'll be in the description.
for-
It's Hunkleberry.
To avoid
You
any
can spell
confusion. Yes.
that. And then if you want your play to be read, your screenplay to be read, or your music to be heard on this podcast, please send all of that to tglsubmit@gmail.com. That will also be in the description.
Yes, and final thank you to our guests and everyone who came on and helped us on this episode. Thank you to Nicholas Bafia for lending us the equipment that we could not do this without you.
And thank you to Art Wing for lending us this closet.
Yes, true. Thank you, Art.
That's our landlord.
And thanks, Mom and Dad, for being you.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Bye.